So I'm here with Louise Sorel, and we were just talking a little bit before we started the interview about your family. Maybe talk about your Hollywood past and your parents and kind of the amazing stories they have.
Well, basically I was born in Hollywood. My father was a Hollywood film producer, and I guess one of the well-known films he did was called Fighting Seabees with John Wayne in 1943. And my mother was from Egypt, and basically she was a pianist, but she was very beautiful, so when she came to Hollywood, she sort of wanted to be an actress, and somebody saw her, and they signed her Sam Goldwyn, and gave her the name Jeanne Sorel, and then the trade paper said the new Garbo has arrived. So she did a couple of films, and then my father met her, and that was the end of her career until much later in life when she created a theater in Los Angeles.
And what a comparison, Greta Garbo, like, wow.
That's quite, yes, my mother was great beauty.
Well, thank you for that. Now, obviously, you're known partially for Star Trek, which you're here today to talk about. So would you like to talk a little bit about how maybe you got the role and what your experience was on set with Star Trek?
Well, I just went in and met with Jane Roddenberry, and they hired me, and I didn't really take it very seriously because it was another job, and we didn't know that Star Trek would become this. And we had a lot of laughs on the set because Bill was very funny. I mean, I barely could keep a straight face. We'd worked together before, so we knew each other. And I adored him. I was wrapped up in this gold lame, wonderful-looking dress, and kind of looked at James Daly, who was my mentor, who played the man who Methuselah, and I said, "What are we doing here? I'm from Broadway. I went to the neighborhood playhouse. What am I doing in this? What are we doing here?" And he said, "Well, it's Christmas money. It's Christmas, you know." But then we realized that Gene Roddenberry had an amazing concept. I mean, you didn't really understand at the time until you began to look at what he was saying, and he was concerned about the climate and about the atmosphere and the world. And now we realize that he was sort of like in the Jules Verne arena a little bit. We didn't realize it at the time.
And I'll be a little bit honest, I can't say I'm an expert. One of my fields that I'm not that strong in is soap operas, but I know that you were a big player in Santa Barbara and Days of Our Lives.
Yes.
So could you talk a little bit maybe about how that is different from acting in, a big network, primetime type show?
Well, soaps, they're much quicker. We do a show a day, which is, in a regular television show, you have a week, 2 weeks sometimes. We do 80 pages in a day, and sometimes more. And now they're really pushing it so that you get no rehearsal, and you're there from 6 in the morning until 6 at night, and you're doing 30 pages a day. It's as opposed to 7, on a regular nighttime show. So soap opera work is really difficult. It's really long hours and very fast. No time to really think about what you're doing. So it's difficult. And for me, it was hard because I ask questions, and I kind of try to protect what I'm doing, and I'm annoying. I irritate them.
There's nothing wrong with asking questions. If we've learned anything from Socrates going back a few years, he taught us that asking questions is all right.
Yes.
Now, I guess for my final question, if you could suggest perhaps an excellent film or one of your favorite films or movies from either the past or present.
Oh my God, there's so many films. A lot of them are foreign films because the first film I remember seeing as a child was called La Belle et la Bête, and Cocteau, and my mother only took me to foreign films because her language was French, and so that was the first movie I ever saw, and I think I never really forgot Jeanne Marais or Edwige Fourier, I think was the lead in that. And then, of course, to try to think of a favorite film, there are too many, Some perfect films that have been made. Going way back to a play I just did called I Remember Mama, which was George Stevens' film, and it was his favorite film that he ever directed. It's perfect. It's a beautiful film. And then there's so many French films, Italian films, The Bicycle Thief going back. My God, I mean, they're just, I wouldn't attempt to name a favorite.
Well, it's funny because your first suggestion, my mind immediately goes to the movie poster for that film because I collect vintage movie posters. And it's just one of the most striking posters, La Belle et la Bête. It's just beautiful. But anyway, that's a beautiful suggestion. Thank you so much, and it's been great talking to you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming to Cornwall.
Oh, it's a pleasure.